Chapter 8 Albert's Journal of the Universe. 8th entry. Art as a medium for reality.
September 2nd, 2045. Continued. This dreamscape that we vacation in is a product of our imagination, along with memories from countless lifetimes. Each one of us played a part in the creation of this fifth-dimensional reality. What a group tapestry of love and cooperation. The knowledge that our reality can be changed, even recreated, is clear to us all. Like canvas with layers of paint, each layer is an improvement. Until we get the desired look, we are content with, or meets the satisfaction of our mind's eye, subject to more change. This dreamscape is an expression of our essences, therefore it is a work of art that we would like to share with those that may find enjoyment from our perspectives. Recording all our experiences in this journal is not describing the wonder that makes up our malleable environment. The new dream day on our dream vacation was one of relaxation and appreciation. The whole group came together, all of us opened up our senses, taking in what our surroundings had to offer. This is our agreed upon reality with our individual perspective and essences. On our 7th day, we rested. As always, I will fall short conveying into words what cannot be fully conveyed. The magic, the vibrations, the textures, the sights, the splendor, the detail, the natural flow of our colliding minds, and what each of us experienced as individuals would take volumes of pages. So it is with wide, broad strokes on this recorder that I make journal entries. In all the ways that art has manifested, it is clearly the second step we take on the bridge to reality. The first step is imagination, the image or images, vibrations or sounds, thoughts or feelings, perceived by our consciousness. This is where magic starts. Through art, we create a path of sharing, we leave a legacy that imprints on reality, with a life of its own. Whether the transformation from imagination to conveyance is through painting, music, literature, doodling, or whatever, it now becomes something that others can pick up on easily if they choose. The next step on the bridge to reality is acceptance, validation, consent, sharing, or approval. This is where integrations, compromises take place as you believe you need support for the next step. It is as if you need validation that the ground or some other means of support is there if you stumble. Many believe that to take this step in blind faith is foolhardy. Others say it is divine wisdom. This is where your willpower comes into play. Here is what designs the testament or product consequence of your willpower. The third step is where your imagination is defined, described, placed into shared concepts named planned, molded, analyzed, acted upon, or discarded. This step is where art is important, as your image will start to take on a malleable form of its own. You may have to take this step on your own. Here, in our shared dreamscape full of images taking form from vibrations that we all contributed to, we all just wanted to appreciate each other's essences, and this turned out to be an adventure on its own. For us to share this dream reality, we need to construct an image that can be seen by more than just our team family. That is the purpose of this journal. It is a rough draft that will preserve the imagination or images that we wish to share. By using the limited magic of words to create an image and casting a spell on each word by spelling it in a way that creates an image, we can do magic with our imagination. Bill's essence of observation went into playground mode as his child within came out to play. His child was always prominent, although his playfulness is usually more subtle. Like a babe in Wonderland, his eyes met with every detail. His buoyant behavior caught on as he shared all his rediscoveries as if he was experiencing it all for the first time. Lights and shadows blended perfectly, creating colors, transformations from the micro to the macro. Vibrational energy emanated from everything as if our universe was singing and each object was responding in kind. The wind flowed through us, whispering wisdom that could only be felt if you were open to it. We just experienced being conscious forces within nature, so it seems only natural to start listening and feeling the elements as new gifts was presented to us. All that it took was a glance of recognition for anything to manifest. The flora and fauna were beautiful everywhere, although when we gave our attention towards detail of a flower or insect, new alarmingly clear perspectives came into view. Even the tiniest thing cast a shadow, returned our energy by responding to our energy, even if it was our shadow overpowering the shadow they cast. The distribution of light gave life in magical ways. We observed with appreciation, gratefulness, awe, wonder, love, acceptance, and being. After all, we were observing our souls' spirits manifesting into combined reality. Something felt intriguing when we approached an energy vortex coming from a large cavern surrounded by a layered granite shelf. At this point, we all transformed into our photon beings to follow the vortex to its source. This vortex had both sides of a parallel line swirling down to its center. On one side of the line we were naturally drawn to there was the opposite of what was on the other side of the line. It all was returning to its source as one. Each loop in the vortex took us through a series of visions, but also a wave of conflicting emotions. Each loop had its own vibrational tones. We gravitated towards the positive side of the polarities, although we were close to center, so we could observe the opposite polarity. The outer loops of the vortex were spun tight with a long rotation taking what felt like lifetimes to circumnavigate. As we made our way closer to source, the bandwidths of the vortex got further apart as the polarities mixed, still keeping a center line. We traveled along with the flow the vortex was taking us. It was like taking a tube ride down a slow-moving stream with wonder on both sides of the stream. On one side was wonder, wow, and the other side was wonder, why. The tension between the polarities on the outer loops was also much more intense. The vibrations were scurral, jeering, tightly strung and pitched at a high frequency. As the bandwidths widened, the sounds became pleasant, more distinguishable. We have traveled many paths back to source, although this one is approached with fresh intent as we just enjoy the ride along with what it has to offer. We observed the progression of creation from a single cell to complex beings structured out of the elements in their environment. What we saw was limited to what we have fashioned from our combined knowledge. We again realized that we were stuck with the tools we had to work with, even in this advanced dream world of endless possibilities. Maybe we will touch new memories that will enhance our toolbox of data that we draw from. Alternate timelines are just a fraction away as we make our journey. Straying from one polarity to another causes new timeline perspectives that affect your view of the stream. We stayed close to center most of the way, although each of us witnessed events as they happened from the proximity of where they were in the polarity stream. For those of us that got within the opposite polarity, the same event would have varied reaction that would slightly alter the flow of the stream from one pole to the other or more entrenched in the polarity they were in. Linear progression showed us the extremes of our decisions and how those choices placed us in the multidimensional time stream of endless possibilities. The development of art, along with the influence that artists have on any society, became apparent as images of everything from cave painting and primitive drumming to masterpieces of sound and sight. Artwork appeared as species evolved as creators using material from surroundings. Most art appeared in nature, from ants building an ant hill, to bees building beehives, birds building nests, beavers building dams, and even more sophisticated structures or portrayals of images from those that often copied from nature. Observers of natural design replicated images and usually failed at attempts of creating outside natural cosmic laws. Guidelines and borders were drawn by some that limited new art to judgment without the recognition of the divine source of the artist. If something did not fit the current mold of acceptance, it was discarded as inferior. The Renaissance would flourish as art found a place in the hearts of all beings. Symbols have evolved as interrupters and interpreters, assigning fixed meanings to shapes. Various alphabets emerged, with symbols representing sounds or vibrations, aiding in the construction of reality. Each culture developed its unique set of symbols that produced recognizable sounds to convey messages or communicate. Mutual validation contributed to the evolution of what we recognize as language. This exemplifies the transformation of art into reality. One thing we also noticed was that the transformation from imagination to some kind of shared reality fell short in the translation. In this journal alone are many examples of this. Even the most masterful word magicians or musicians lose bits and pieces in the transformation. This is mainly due to interpretation or perspective of the observer, who may be part of this sharing of images, as well as limited tools within the toolbox. How do you cage imagination? Creations are formed in the macro world of imagination, then brought into the micro-reality, transported through art. It is said that the great wonders of man were formed in the heavens, then built on earth. The methods of building many of the ancient wonders of man are being realized in our dream reality vacation. When we reached the source of our shared dreamscape vortex, we already knew we were on our journey away from source, taking with us the nutrients needed to make the journey through source essence once again, continually completing and beginning journey after journey. Source is within everything, so it is everything from I am to the great I am. We are the vortex, points within the vortex, and the source of the vortex, along with both polarities of the vortex. We travel a path of unlimited recognition. We found ourselves back at our shared dream resort as if we had never left. We talked about the day's adventure as if it was lifetimes ago. Talking is just the word that I use, although to properly translate how communication took place would be shared knowing or bouncing neutrons, shared energy, conversing, or telepathy. Spoken words are no longer necessary within our team. It is only necessary to convey our images out as art to be interpreted. Each of us is holding on to our desired divine essences as we transform continually in this shared chronicle. Layers of hidden talent within us are being unveiled. The children are displaying abilities that are marvels of playfulness. Each of the team is bringing imagination to reality with tools of art that seemed impossible not long ago. Penny's sound creations manifest at a whim. Charles' molecular abilities have just begun to glean the possibilities. Brandon has formed a bond with nature that only free communication can tap. Mary keeps the lines between us open as she shares her natural essence. Myra's healing energy is present on a cosmic scale. Bill was observing probabilities, possibilities, or perspectives through the eyes of creation. His guidelines were limitless. Our Mice Friends family continues to surprise everyone with their grasp on reality in the world we are creating. Scout asked us some funny questions. Who came up with the concept of duality? If we are creating from past experience, then duality is something that was made up. Then, entrench that image in our mind's data bank. How do we see beyond what we think we know? Are we watching reruns of our group reality? What would happen if we voided the concept of duality from existence? Would we view a completely different set of events, or maybe just interpret the events we see without that perspective? All that I could say at first was, wow. We will all have to look into the answers to those questions. Our experience living as mice without preconceived concepts allowed us to see the wisdom in your thoughts. Our emotions affected our reaction with the instinct to not bring harm. We were guided by new natural rules, governed by our connection to Prime Creator. Bill chimed in singing. Now it is just something that we used to think we knew. He continued by saying duality is part of natural law, with the concept perspective view then defined by man. We cannot change natural law, so when we observe natural law, we can only seek knowledge as our abilities develop. We could remove our scripts about duality, but duality will still exist. Geometric shapes exist within all matter that has natural law guiding them. Without duality, creation does not take place, so we cannot take it out of the equation. The polarization of duality is where truth is. Albert adds as the main point. That went missing for a while in our society. The frequency of truth being reached creates harmonics that shape matter. By increasing our frequency, we are able to transform reality even on a physical level. Truth is described as a straight line in the center of a wave-curved line. It is both lines. This vertex that we experienced earlier showed us that the further we were from the center line of truth, the more chaotic was our experience. Mary noted Myra rode the center line of truth the whole journey through the vortex. The center is the truest path on the ride. By riding the center line of the vortex, I was able to observe both polarities with a pleasantly comforting ease Myra started sharing. This center line is where healing takes place, so I was naturally drawn to it. Charles must have had the most fun, because he navigated the polarities like a skier behind a wake. He also increased his frequency of crossing the wake as we went along. With new ponderings ahead, we simulated another day's closing with a well-resting sleep. This was one of our favorite dogmas, so we hold on to it. What is a dream vacation without plenty of rest? Dreaming within a dream, within a dream. Is our physical reality a dream also? We can touch, see, hear, taste, and smell because we wear a body that is capable of these functions. We have use of the body vehicle to experience a shared reality with others. Trust with Prime Creator is needed. We are all extensions of Prime Creation. Our dreaming vacation seems to be taking on another purpose. We are going through a cleansing of our collective reality, a society self-diagnosis. Bill's influence of many perspectives is guiding our experiences in this shared dream quasiverse. What lies ahead is unknown.
Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I hope you enjoyed this romp in the playground. Please subscribe, like, and share. You can also visit quasiversecomicbooks.com.